Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at completed writing and what the end of the writing process looks like. Our goals for today are to take a look at what is a completed piece of writing, what is that writing process, and how does it end with a finished piece of writing or multimedia project, and how can writers improve upon their writing as they're going through these steps. So, what's a completed piece of writing? A completed piece of writing is ready for sharing and publication. So this is that piece of writing that you are so excited to share with the world. You want it published, you want it to give it to people, you want people to read it, you're very proud of it, you feel like you've put all of your effort into it, and it's really something to speak about. This is a piece that has all of the text, images, graphs, multimedia, all of those different pieces come together and they make this perfect presentation, regardless of whether it's solely writing, such as an essay or a research paper that doesn't have any visual components to it, or maybe it's a video production or a PowerPoint presentation or a screencast or something like this that has multiple pieces to it. Regardless of what it is absolutely perfect. So why do we need to focus on completion? This is actually the exact goal of writing. And your goal is to have that perfect piece of writing. That's what's really important here. Sometimes I'll talk to students and they'll say, well, once I've edited for my spelling or my grammar or something along these lines, I should be okay. I should be all right to just go ahead and turn that in. Just go ahead and toss it in. But that's not really what we're going for. What we're really going for is to have something that actually is perfect. Have something that actually is good enough that it would be published in a book or a magazine or on a website or something like this. All right, so what are we looking for when we're saying that something is actually perfected? So we're looking for a balance between the white space and the visuals and the text. So when we look at any individual page within the piece or element within the piece, it looks right to us aesthetically. Okay, it's got balance to it. It's got good graphics. They are colorful, but in a manner that is very pleasing and attractive to the eye. It's neat. If there's physical handwriting that's done, that is very legible. It's very easy for the reader to read. The font selection has been done in a proper manner so that it's not a crazy font that's a yellow script that's very difficult to read, particularly for people who wear glasses. The borders are in the correct size according to the particular requirements for the project. And just overall, the appearance is pleasing, it's attractive, it's inviting to the reader. When we look at perfected writing, we can take a look at any kind of professional writing that's out there. We can look at published books, published magazines, newspaper, billboards. We can look at all different kinds of pieces. Now, as we look at these pieces, we can also look at what is it about them that attracts us to want to read those pieces. You can look at billboards, you can look at signs, you can look at any kind of written writing, and you can look at that and say, what is it about this that really makes me want to read it? It's going to be a combination of headlines, the graphics, the fonts that are used, the balance of white space, all of these things that we've talked about. All right, again, you want to take a look at all of these pieces here because all of these you're actually going to have to edit multiple times as you're going through that editing and revising stage before you get to that final draft. Now, oftentimes students don't know what basic essay formatting should look like. Every teacher is going to be a little bit different. Every professor is going to be a little bit different. But here is some basic formatting. If you're not sure what to do, use this. For your font, use Times New Roman. It is absolutely the easiest one to use, and it is going to be the most consistent with your teachers or professors in terms of what they want to see coming in. Your font size should be 12. When you're looking at an essay, your spacing always is double. Make sure that you check the defaults for whatever your program is because some defaults will knock you down to a 1.5 or something to this effect. Make sure that you're using a double. Make sure it's Times New Roman 12. Margins, 1 inch top and bottom, 1.25 on the sides. I've also seen margins be marked at 1 inch on the side, so either one of those should be correct. And your heading at minimum include your name, your class, and what the assignment is. Your title should be centered, the word should be capitalized, but it's not larger font, it's not a different color, it's not underlined and boldened, any of these other things. It's just kept really simple. Any of your images, graphics, any of your multimedia pieces, they need to be used when they're specifically assigned. One of the problems I run into sometimes as I'm grading papers is that students will include all kinds of things that I didn't necessarily assign in the paper and then I won't be grading for, and sometimes those can detract from the reading. Okay, so why is this important in the big picture? Your purpose of writing is always to get information from the writer to the reader. You want to do this in a clear, efficient, aesthetic manner for your reader. The purpose of your essay and of your research is always to communicate your thesis statement, give it solid support, and get that information to your reader in a clear manner so that your reader will agree with you and want to continue reading. You don't want your reader to think that you are sloppy or messy or unprofessional. You want them to agree with you. Okay, again, here is the information for formatting a Word document. If you're using another program than Word, it may be slightly different and you may have to play with it a bit. But you can come back to this slide here if you want to take a look at exactly what that formatting should be. All right, what not to do. Here are some of the pitfalls that I've seen in the past. Don't use a random font or a wild font color. It may look really cool to you to use a really kind of off-the-wall font and a crazy color like pink or yellow or something like this. But for certain people, particularly people who wear glasses, it's very, very difficult to read. Make sure that you're not using huge letters. Your teachers have read hundreds, if not thousands of papers. We can spot when the font size is incorrect. So don't turn it up to 24. We know the difference. Make sure that you're using the proper size. Same thing with the margins. We can see it right away. Make sure you're just using the correct margin size from the very beginning, as well as the spacing. Teachers and professors who have done a lot of grading, or just readers who have read a lot, they know the difference between spacing. They can see the difference between a single space and a triple space. So if it says double spacing, use double spacing. I can look at a paper and instantly tell you if the spacing is off just by the way that it looks. So, keep those things in mind. If you need to use a header or footer because that is part of the assignment, make sure that you're doing that and make sure that you're doing that properly. If it's supposed to be right justified, make sure that it's right justified. And don't skip any steps with your formatting. All of these things sound like they're a bit nitpicky, and they are a bit nitpicky, but they are the little things that you need to make that completed piece of writing perfect. In terms of student expectations, make sure that you're following the writing process. You're doing a very thorough job all the way from brainstorming, outlining, that initial draft. Your editing and revising process may take a long time, that may be very in-depth, and then redrafting until you've got that perfected piece. Make sure that you're using your correct formatting. Don't invent formatting. Don't try to guess your way through it. Do it right. Follow all of the directions that you've been given if those are in writing, or if those are part of a book, a text, if they're part of a reference book, or if those have been given verbally to you in class. Make sure you follow all of those. And if you don't know something, make sure that you look it up, get help, ask questions. I know that it's easy to just kind of make a guess sometimes, but it's better to ask the question. At this point, what you should know and be able to do, understand what that completed piece of writing is. Know how perfect writing looks and how a perfect multimedia project looks. The better that you are as being a reader and a viewer, the better that you will be at creating a quality piece. Be able to improve on your own presentations and help your classmates and other writers improve upon their presentations as well. I hope this information has been helpful to you. Good luck.